Good day, everyone. My name is Ava Holmes, and on behalf of Carasoft Technology, I would like to welcome you to our Brite Systems webinar, Modernizing HHS Access, Delivering a No Wrong Door Experience with Salesforce Agentforce for Public Sector. To tell you a little bit about Carasoft, we are the trusted government IT solutions provider supporting federal, state, local government, education, healthcare, and private sector industries. We connect our customers across the US and Canada with thousands of technology vendors, resellers, system integrators, and managed service providers to deliver a comprehensive range of solutions and services to meet organizations' needs. Carasoft, in conjunction with our vendor partners, is pleased to host and sponsor thousands of educational and informational events each year, ranging from webinars like today's event to accredited trainings, trade shows, roundtable discussions, technology forums, user groups, and more. Carasoft holds a wide variety of schedules, contracts, and purchasing agreements that streamline and simplify the IT procurement process. Our contact information will be presented at the end of this presentation, so please do not hesitate to call or email us for any of your needs. Next slide, please. As the master government aggregator for our vendor, reseller, and integrator partners, Carasoft has assembled a comprehensive IT solutions portfolio that includes products and services from across technology verticals to support organizations with mission-focused solutions. Next slide, please. Participants of today's event are eligible to earn one continuing professional education or CPE credit. In order to qualify for the credit, you must be actively listening as well as answering any polling questions that will be presented. If you meet all of our requirements, you will receive your certificate of completion via email in the following weeks. For more information on the CPE credits we are offering, our CPE sponsor NASPA, or the submission process, please visit the event registration page or follow the link that is displayed on your screen. And with that, I would like to pass it off to our first presenter of the day, Gregory Braun.
All right. Thank you, Ava. Can everyone hear me okay? All right, perfect. Well, thanks so much. And thanks everyone for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. As mentioned, my name is Greg Braun, and I'm the VP of Sales for State and Local Government with Brite Systems. And with me today is our Solutions Engineer, Maureen Uslick. We're going to walk through what a modern digital front door looks like, how agencies can move towards a no wrong door model, and how platforms like Salesforce and MuleSoft, along with newer capabilities like Agentforce, are enabling that transformation. For the agenda, I will give a quick background on Brite Systems as a systems integrator and give an overview of how we're seeing agencies utilize Salesforce for their digital front door experience before Maureen jumps into our demo. As Ava mentioned, please use the Q&A function to ask questions throughout the presentation, and we have reserved time at the end of the session to answer those questions. So jumping into a quick background on Brite Systems, we are a global Salesforce partner headquartered in Indianapolis, Indiana, with team members located across the United States. For the past 20 years, we've been dedicated to delivering solutions that drive meaningful outcomes and have been serving health and human services agencies since the company was established. That deep experience continues to shape how we design and deliver solutions on the Salesforce platform today. Our foundation in public sector programs makes our implementations not just technically sound, but operationally relevant. We understand the language, the programs, and the challenges agencies face every day and have a proven track record of delivering solutions that help agencies modernize how they deliver programs and interact with the communities they serve. So jumping into digital front door, we like to start the conversation beginning with the access challenge. So what we hear from a lot of our customers is that too often constituents have to figure out how government agencies are organized before they can access help. As agencies look to meet growing demand, they're facing a few consistent challenges. There's increasing need for services, but staffing levels aren't keeping pace. At the same time, many organizations are still relying on aging siloed systems that weren't designed to work together. From a constituent perspective, this creates a fragmented experience where people often have to navigate multiple systems, re-enter the same information, or figure out which programs they qualify for on their own. And internally, staff are spending a significant amount of time on manual processes instead of focusing on service delivery. So what do we mean by a digital front door? At its core, it's about creating a single intuitive entry point where constituents can access services, submit requests, and get guidance without needing to understand how multiple state agencies or local government departments are structured. This could be a web portal, a mobile experience, or even assisted channels like a contact center. But the key is that it feels unified and easy to navigate. It shifts the experience from being program driven to being centered around the individual. And I will pause there as we pop up our first CPE question. All right, looks like those answers are coming in. All right, good deal. So what is the primary purpose of a digital front door in public sector service delivery? The answer is to provide a single user-friendly entry point for constituents to access services and guidance. Nicely done for those that got it right. So let's look at what a no wrong door in practice looks like. So from that single user-friendly entry point for constituents to access services and guidance is where the concept of no wrong door really comes in. The idea is simple. No matter where somebody starts, they should be able to get to the right service without friction. They shouldn't have to know which department handles what or which program they qualify for before they even begin. Instead, the system guides them by capturing their information once and routing it appropriately behind the scenes. Where you start shouldn't determine whether you get the assistance applicable to you. How Salesforce enables this is using tools like Experience Cloud, which agencies can create the digital front door that is a modern user-friendly portal for citizen access. Public sector solutions provides the underlying case management, eligibility frameworks, and data model to manage services across programs. We also utilize MuleSoft for API connectivity between systems and for cross-program visibility. And then you layer in Agentforce, which brings AI-driven guidance and automation into both the front-end experience and back-end workflows. Together, this creates a connected ecosystem and experience from intake to service delivery. And I'm going to pause again as we pop up our second CPE question of the day. Looks like answers are coming in. All right, nicely done. So what is the primary benefit of combining Experience Cloud, public sector solutions, and Agentforce in a digital front door? That is creating a connected experience from intake to service delivery. Nicely done to those that got it right. And we're going to move on to the role of AI within Agentforce. AI is becoming a key part of how agencies modernize, but it needs to be practical and mission aligned. With Agentforce, AI is embedded directly into the workflow. For constituents, it can help guide them through intake by answering questions, helping them find the right service, and reducing confusion. And for staff, it can summarize case information, assist with communications, and highlight key insights, reducing administrative burden. The goal isn't to replace staff, it's to support them and make their work more efficient and effective. So to bring this to life, Maureen is going to walk through a demo highlighting these features. We'll start with an online portal where a citizen is looking to apply for benefits. You'll see how Agentforce helps guide them to the right place by answering questions and navigating them to the appropriate application, removing the guesswork from the process. From there, we'll walk through a benefits screening experience and the application submission, showing how the system can help determine potential eligibility and streamline intake. After that, we'll shift to the back-end experience within Salesforce, looking how benefit services teams manage the application, including program application review and eligibility determination. And finally, we'll come back to the citizen experience to show how individuals can log back into the portal to view their applications and track status updates in real time. So through this demo, you'll see the full life cycle from intake to decisioning to ongoing engagement, all connected in a single unified experience. And with that, Maureen, I'll pass it over to you.
I'm so sorry. Turn the video on and not the audio. So can you see my screen before I get started?
Yep, we got it.
Okay, excellent. So as Greg was saying, we see the digital front door as basically a collection of information and resources that the citizen can go to one place and find out information across your state agencies and departments. And so here we are on the Brite Citizen portal, which is our digital front door. And we can see that there's different information that we may be able to access. If I'm a resident, if I'm a visitor, if I'm a business or wanting to be a business, different government services, and we'll get into the other items later in the demo. But basically, you see that under services and agencies, we've got a variety of different agencies and departments represented here. So Adult Protective Services, Aging and Disability, we've got Bureau of Motor Vehicles. So this demo is really geared towards HHS benefits, Health and Human Services benefits, but just, we think of the digital front door as it could be anything. So I'm coming here and I want to know if I can renew my driver's license online. So I may, enter the Bureau of Motor Vehicles area of the portal. And that might keep me within the portal and give me all the information I need, or it might send me out to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles website. That would be up to, you and how you're crawl, walk, running to bring all this together and how siloed your agencies are. So, here we have the various services and agencies, and then we also have like popular topics, starting a business, reporting abuse, applying for benefits. So the person can see all like the news and events that are going on, as well as contact their government through this sign up form. So this front page is really, our digital front door. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to switch to being a citizen named Jack Matthew, and I recently lost my job. So I need services, I need benefits, and I need to know what benefits I'm eligible for based on my situation. So I have a household of 3, my wife and my child. And I don't know if I'm eligible for, food assistance, cash assistance, health care coverage, etc. So I'm going to explore this portal here. And the first thing I'm going to do is, instead of trying to find my way through this portal, I'm just going to go ahead and click on this chat here, because I've seen on a lot of other sites that if they have a chat, it's usually some sort of AI type of chat agent, and that is the case with this as well. So we're using Salesforce's chat agent here, and Sarah is her name, And Sarah, I'm going to ask Sarah some questions. So let's say I am interested specifically in who qualifies for healthcare coverage based on my income and household size. And so I'm going to ask Sarah that and see, what she comes back with. So she comes back with an answer, and she also comes back with a knowledge article that I can click on and get more details. We can give as much information as we want in this answer. Sarah could answer the whole thing. But she's referring us to a knowledge article. Same thing if I asked, about food assistance and the EBT card, where can I shop for groceries? And so she's come back with an answer, and as well, she's given me that I can shop at grocery stores, farmers markets, even online retailers. So that's a great thing. And I see that there's also a source of where I can get more information specifically about the food assistance program. I could also go to knowledge, and I can see all the knowledge articles here. And there's a lot here. Looks like there's 5 pages, but let's say I specifically want to know about healthcare because that's my main concern. So I use the search box and I type in healthcare, and it comes back with some articles, and I click into one, and I can see that it gives me more information than actually Sarah did about the qualifications for healthcare coverage, which would be Medicaid in his instance. So it gives me that the age that and the income level I need to be up to 138% of the federal poverty limit, and so on. And so I think I'm going to, uh, be eligible for this, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to go back to the home page, and I'm going to ask Sarah. Can I apply for benefits? And we'll see what she says. So she says that I can apply through the state benefits portal, and it looks like there's a link here. And so I'm going to click on this link. And here I get an application. So this is great. I can put in my information, it looks like, and hopefully it'll tell me what benefits I'm eligible for. So my name is, as I said, Jack Matthew, and my birth or my email address. I'll enter in my birthday, and it just so happens to be my birthday today. We'll choose 1984, and April 16th. And so the other fields are filled in, just we did that so that you don't have to watch me select everything. So my state's Alabama. I have 3 people in my household. One's a child. This is my income before taxes. It was my income basically before I was unemployed. These are my annual expenses. I am unemployed or about to become unemployed. And then it asks me some other questions. Now, this is meant to be just a very quick screening of what data that the various programs need to just determine eligibility. This can be much longer than this, but for the purposes of the time constraints of the demo, we made it pretty simple. So we filled everything out, and and I'm also disabled, by the way. And so I'm going to click next. And then it tells me that I need to upload these documents. And of course, there may be more documents, but I'm going to go ahead and upload the files that they've asked me to. And so in Salesforce, you can select more than one document at the same time, so he doesn't have to individually upload each document. So it says 3 files will be attached to your application when you submit. So I'll click next. And here it says benefits assistance program. So it looks like I might be available for a lot of programs. And so we wanted to point out that this, it's not just necessarily health and human services programs. Like I said before, it could be, LIHEAP, it could be financial literacy training, summer EBT program. And so these would be obviously across agencies, across departments, and they will be receiving this information from our system once I click apply for selected benefits. So I will talk a little bit more about how those agencies and departments would receive the information once I get into the demo a little bit more. So I'm going to say apply for selected benefits. I don't know what, I may or may not be eligible for, but I'm just going to select all of them and see how it goes. So I've clicked apply for selected benefits, and the system comes back here and says, thank you for applying, and it gives me an application number. So I also get an email with that confirmation, and it tells me thank you for applying, and this is a link to the portal where you can check your applications and their status, etc. So at this point in time, we will be back to this portal, but I'm going to switch over to the internal side of the application, which also could be called your back end. This would be the staff's application that they use to look at applications, to process applications, etc. So on my homepage, I can see that I have a dashboard here, and let's say that this is, I work for the Department of Administrative Services, which is, a general agency that is kind of that's where the state CIO sits. And we manage this application for all of the agencies, but the agencies and the departments actually do work their own program applications. And I'll be showing you that in a moment. So here I am seeing as a DAS employee, all benefits, umbrella cases. So an umbrella case is just an application that groups all of the different program applications that the citizen has selected. So if I selected 3, then that umbrella application will show 3 applications basically under it, and I'll show you what JAX looks like in a moment. We can also see open umbrella cases by status. So the umbrella cases would usually stay open until all of the agencies have closed, approved, or denied and closed their own cases. So these are just the umbrella cases that are open, but we also have individual application cases that is shown here. So these are all of the open benefit cases by status. So here are all of our statuses. Some are new, some are under case review. And these statuses in the middle are more for the agencies and the departments that are working those program applications. And then over here, we've got by type and status. So these are the types of programs that we are managing. So you can see healthcare, food assistance, etc. And then we can also see by status at the same time in this graphic. And then anytime if we wanted to view the underlying data behind the report or the dashboard widget picture, we can click on view report, and it would take us to the report and show us all of the data that made up that graphic. So I'm going to go ahead and click back, and just, we can also to categorize by agencies. So here we've got Department of Children and Youth, we've got Department of Education, so we can see how many cases they all have and then what statuses they are. And then this graphic actually shows ownership and then average case age. So we can see that some agencies, do a little bit better right now with how long the case has been open. So 5 days, on average here, 6.7 here. and so on. So that's just an overall, gives me an overall status of where everything is right now. I can see all the new benefit cases they're all just the benefit cases that are in the status of new and haven't been put into a case review yet. So I could follow up on those possibly with, say, the Department of Education or whoever owns the case. And then I can also access, recent records I've across the application. So whether it's a dashboard or a case or an account person record, I can drill straight into that and then view any tasks I have for today. So we're going to go into that application that was created for Jack Matthew. And this is that umbrella application I talked about. So we have all the information that was gathered during the application process. And do note that you're probably thinking, well, there's a lot of more information that we have to gather to determine eligibility. And we recognize that, and we know that there would be a pretty long application gathering all the income from the household, who is bringing in the income, it's the spouse, all of the expenses of the household, the assets, et cetera, et cetera. So that would be a much longer application. We don't have time to do that during this demo. So, we're just assuming that all of that has happened and all of the information that we need to determine eligibility for the different programs we have gathered already. And so we can see that we also have the benefit selections that Jack selected. So we can see all the programs that he wants to apply for. And then I can also see that an account has been created for Jack, and we've got his phone number and his status is under review. He's not yet enrolled in any program, so he's not active yet. All of his cases are still under review. Here we've got the files that he uploaded, and we have a task here that it was automatically associated to the application for verification of documents. So that's due tomorrow. So I'll go ahead and look at the applications he uploaded or the documents that Matthew uploaded, check expiration date, all the things I need to check on a driver's license. That looks good. Disability determination letter. He said he's disabled, so this is his disability letter. And then also his last pay stub. We can see how much he made last month anyway, but he says he's unemployed, so that's going to factor into eligibility as well. So, I could, if the driver's license was too small or too blurry or what have you, I could go ahead and go to actions and activities and email Jack to send me a updated copy of his driver's license, or to upload it to the portal rather. Or he could reply to the email that I sent him. So I could go ahead and do that. I do have an email to show you already here and on another case. So I'll save that. So we're going to go ahead and just tick this verify documents, and it basically will set that task to completed and move it down to basically the activity history. So I can see that what I have upcoming or overdue is to review the related cases for the correct agency department assignment. And I've already checked that I've completed the verify documents. And so that actually will get down to the different agencies to say that at least DAS has reviewed the files. And so, that's been done. They may want to review or ask for more documentation if their program actually needs that. So we also can view the email that went to Jack that basically thanks him. This is the email that was his verification of the application, and that he could contact us if he needs to. And then you also see this thread, and Salesforce has the capability called email to case. And if Jack replies to this email, it's got this thread and it will automatically associate it to this case. And I'll get a notification that he's sent an email and I can view that email. And it'll come, if I own the case, which I own this umbrella case, it'll come, straight to my inbox. Um, and then I've also had a call with Jack, and I'll fast forward through time and let you know when that happened. So I've got a call from Jack that I logged. He was just wanted to ensure that his application was submitted, and that he got an email confirmation, but he wanted to know if he can access his applications online. And I walked him through the portal to show him where he can do that. So now I'm going to go to this related cases tab, and my activity is to review the related cases for correct assignment. So out of that one application that Jack did in the digital front door, we have 9 additional applications that were created related to this umbrella case, that are all assigned to the appropriate agency or department. So you'll see that the financial literacy program and the summer EBT program were both assigned to the Department of Education. And coming back to how do these applications get to these other agencies, which can be answered in a number of ways, and because there's a number of ways to do this. One can be that these other agencies actually have Salesforce licenses, and they can actually use this same application and process their applications in Salesforce. Another answer is that we use MuleSoft or other type of interface technology to send the information to the agency, and then we use integration to pass messages back and forth through the systems. And so let's say that let's say the Department of Health does not have any licenses for Salesforce. They manage their own program and their own system, but they do come back with like the updated status or any information that we want to hold in this system. And so you can see that, again, moving ahead in time, the Department of Health has reviewed the WIC application and decided that, realized that they're not eligible because they don't meet the criteria of it being woman, pregnant, and child. And so they have already denied this application. Now, again, that could be done within Salesforce, or it could be done in their external system that is then integrated to Salesforce, and we just get the updated status. So we look at the other applications, and we can see that everything's been assigned to the correct owner or queue. And so I'm going to go ahead and drill into this case right here for CDC. And I can see that this application has, all of the information that we gathered for the umbrella application, as well as we can see the files also that were uploaded to the umbrella application. And we have sent an email to Jack because we need 3 months worth of paychecks instead of just 1 month. And so since there's just 1 month, we have gone ahead and emailed him. Salesforce has the capability to do email templates, automated emails through workflow. So assume maybe that this automatically, we know that the application only asks them for 1 pay stub. We know we have to ask for 3. And so this is an automated email that went out to him that says, please attach your latest 3 pay stubs in the digital front door portal. So I'm going to go back to the portal, and I'll switch hats again, and I'm back as Jack. And if I go to my applications, I can see all of the applications that were created based on that one application form I did at the beginning. And I can also see the status for each one of those. So some are still in new, looks like some are under case review. And I see that the child development application is here waiting for customer. So that's me. And I'm going to drill down on that application, and I can see here the application information. And then also when I was on the phone with Maureen, She helped me, see that I could also see the files that I've uploaded, and I could also upload additional files. So I'm going to go ahead and click upload files, and I'm just going to grab a couple, files that just images, and let's say these are the pay stubs. And then we do have a a sorry, I can't find the word, a validation that it can't be larger than 4 MB, and you can determine that particular size as far as it could be larger than 4 MB, but for this demo, we have restricted it. And you can also restrict what type, but like out of box, Salesforce allows most types to be uploaded, videos, audio files, etc. But you can also restrict that, like you don't want them uploading exe files or something like that. So he's uploaded the file, and we can go back to the application, and I am going to go ahead, and I have received, I can see that there's this notifications bell here, and it is saying that I have 7 notifications. So I'm going to click on that. And I see that it's telling me that a new file has been uploaded to that case. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And I don't know what file I selected. It's probably a picture of, oh, yeah. So, I can look at that, and that's the pay stubs that I've requested. So I can go ahead and if I wanted to view, like, let's say there were tons of files, or a lot of files, I can go ahead and click on that view file or view all, and it would show me all of those records that I could go through and open up. So going back to this application, then I see that I can again do create a new task for myself. I can log a call. I can do an email. I can post directly to the portal, and ask Jack directly to do something for me, or to upload another file, etc. So lots of things that I can manage within this this particular case. And again, I'm kind of changing roles here. And let's say I work for the Department of Children and Youth. And if you see this case team, I can see that that each application can have a case team related to it. So Bethany actually works for Child Development Care, or Children and Youth Department, and she's managing this particular case. And so she's really the owner of this case, but it does stay with the sort of the owner being the Q of the department, so that we know where it is. And then I can go, each one of these applications has its own path, which would be basically the statuses. So I was waiting for the customer, but the response was received. So I can go ahead and put that the status into response received. For whatever reason, I might put this on hold. I can escalate the case, maybe to my management. I can approve it, or possibly submit it for approval. If they've got an approval process where it has to go to higher levels in order to be officially approved and them to be enrolled in the program. And then, of course, we could also deny it if they don't meet eligibility criteria, or if they do not respond to us. If we need more information and they just, don't respond, we can have an automated workflow behind the scenes running that after 30 days, it automatically closes. And so it would eventually go into closed pending and closed. And then once that all of the applications underneath the umbrella case were closed, then there may be some automation that puts the umbrella case into closed pending and closed, so that we can know that all of Jack's program applications that he's applied for have been taken care of by the individual agencies and departments, and we can go ahead and close this case from the Department of Administrative Services perspective. So that is brings me to the end of the demo, and at this point in time, we'd like to open it up for questions.
Maureen, can you show how Jack sees his how he can check the status of his applications through the Experience Cloud portal?
Sure. So, like I went to before, if I'm Jack and I'm logged in here and I am come to the home page, there's a My Applications tab that might not appear when I first come in to the portal because I don't have any applications. But once he's got at least one application, the My Applications is going to appear here, and he clicks on My Applications and he can see all of the individual applications. And we can see here that all the ones that I selected are here individually as separate applications with their own unique case numbers. And then he can see the status of those. And so he can, for example, drill down into the application, and if we allowed it, he could change data on this. Like, let's say if it's still in a new status, he could change data, and he could go ahead and, maybe update his household size. He just had a baby, or, the annual income isn't correct and he made a mistake, or whatever he needs to change. He could do that if we allowed him to through basically it's roles and permissions, and there's a lot of nitty gritty that I could get into as far as how Jack himself can see data. He can only see applications that are related to him, which is that My Applications tab. He can't see anybody else's applications. Perhaps if that application was owned by a household member and we allowed that, Jack could see his wife or his child's application. And it's all done through security, and we can control that internally, in setup through Salesforce administration. So he can go ahead and look at all the data on the application, and he can also see that the status is in new. So it doesn't look like this one has, really moved anywhere, but he can also see that, for example, his WIC application was denied, and he could drill into that and see, say, comments as to why it was denied.
Awesome.
So that's how he would see the statuses of his applications.
Perfect. Thanks, Maureen. I'm going to steal a screen.
Okay.
Get back to screen. All right. Well, thanks, Maureen. And what everyone saw in that demo translates into real measurable outcomes for agencies. So from a constituent perspective, it improves access, making it easier to find and apply for services. For staff, it reduces administrative burden and allows them to focus more on delivering services rather than processing paperwork. And it also enables faster case processing, better visibility into operations, and more data-driven decision-making. So ultimately, it helps agencies deliver services more efficiently. One important point to emphasize is that this kind of transformation doesn't happen all at once. As you know, modernization is an ongoing journey, and at Brite Systems, we help agencies continuously evolve their platform, prioritizing new capabilities, managing releases, and aligning technology to mission outcomes like a digital front door. This is especially important as new innovations like Agentforce continue to emerge. Having a roadmap and governance model in place ensures you can adopt those capabilities in a structured, strategic way. So if you're exploring modernization, expanding your current platform, or just looking to improve access and efficiency, we'd love to continue the conversation. We've provided our contact info here at the end of the slide deck for both myself and Brian Mays. So feel free to reach out to either of us to get any follow-up scheduled as you'd like. And with that, we're going to open it up to the Q&A portion.
If anyone has any questions, please put them in the pod. Thank you, Greg. If anyone has any questions, please put them in the Q&A pod down below, and we will do our best to answer them live. I'll give you everyone a minute or two to drop them in. Although I do see some questions here now. If one of you could answer, how do you integrate something like this with an existing legacy system that agencies already have in place?
Yeah, with legacy systems that are already in place.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's that's one of the most important parts of making a digital front door successful. Most agencies that we work with and most agencies in general aren't starting from scratch. They already have critical systems in place for eligibility or case management or licensing or benefits. And the goal isn't to rip and replace those systems. The goal is more to connect and orchestrate, I would say, than behind that unified experience. I kind of think of like a duck in water, right? Like the digital front door that we showed today looks simple and unified, but the back end that Maureen showed is very complex, and there's a lot of moving parts in there. So typically, we'll do that through an integration layer using tools like MuleSoft, as Maureen mentioned. And we have some data models and some MuleSoft architecture around a digital front door or no wrong door approach that we've done with other customers. So if that's a question that we can follow up with, we'd love to get you in contact with our MuleSoft team and our architects and kind of talk through road mapping, what that would look like from a integration with existing systems into an Experience Cloud portal.
Thank you so much for the explanations. I'm sure everyone really appreciated the kind of background for that. We do have a couple in the an actual portal here that were submitted. One of our participants works a lot with landlords. Can landlords apply so that they can match them up with the client?
Can landlords apply to match as like their own application?
I think so. Um, they
Oh,
said that they worked with landlords and we're wondering if landlords could apply so that they could match them up with their clients. So I'm guessing in the portal.
yeah, I mean, any external person can access the portal. They may have different permissions than, a citizen who is applying for benefits. But if the landlord needs to provide information on a particular application that somebody else submitted, if that's the case, then we could allow visibility to that case, but just a limited view, not all of the information for the case, like birth date and social security number, or we could hide certain fields through access control. And the landlord would just be able to access the application, like maybe to upload a file, like the rental agreement or something like that. So I'm not sure if that answered the particular question of the attendee.
Well, we can follow up with them also offline to make sure that we fully understood. But moving on to a different question, for agencies that are just getting started, what does a typical step forward towards a digital front door look like?
Greg, did you want to take this or do you want me to?
Yeah, I could take that. So, with anybody that's just getting started, I think a really looking at road mapping is really important. And that usually first step is around intake. So again, if that's an application or a service request, case referrals, benefits, whatever that might be, we want to look at where constituents are experiencing the most friction, and focus on simplifying that entry point, and then connecting that to the back end so that the internal agency resources can work those cases. I would say the key there is to take an iterative approach. We want to always look at where can we deliver value quickly, and then how can we expand over time into additional programs, integrations, and even new features that come from Salesforce, like Agentforce or AI.
Looks like we have another question in here um, as well. How does this platform differ from just having a standard website or portal?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So, a traditional website or portal is typically informational, and often organized around how the agency is structured. With a digital front door, it's fundamentally different because it's more designed around the needs of the citizens. So not necessarily around the organization itself. So instead of asking someone to figure out where to go, the digital front door is really there to guide them, help them find the right services, help them look at or determine the eligibility for those services, and create a seamless experience from start to finish. Again, it's connected to the back end, so it's not just that front end experience. It's tied directly to intake, and the other things that citizens would need to look for from that portal.
Thank you so much for that insight. I'm really interested to learn more about um, about this portal in general. I know there are some questions about that as well, but since we are running low on time, I'm just going to ask one last question and then we will follow up with the rest of you offline. How does the no wrong door approach actually work across multiple departments or programs?
Yeah, across multiple departments and programs, that was kind of what the majority of what Maureen showed today. That's all behind the scenes. Whatever type of intake you get, if it's a form, if it's a request, a conversation, phone call, that's captured in that back end as a unified platform. Kind of, Maureen showed it as the umbrella there in the demo. And then from there, the system uses rules, workflows, and sometimes AI, when applicable, to route that request to the appropriate program or department, which is another thing that Maureen showed today. So that's really how you get to, if a citizen starts in the wrong place, they don't have to start over. Their information is already captured. They have to put that in one time. They don't have to do that multiple times. And then that information, once captured, can be routed appropriately. So what makes this possible is a shared data model, and integration across those systems, and that allows those departments to collaborate without the citizen needing to understand how everything is organized internally. So really all that they're really experiencing is, I came to this portal, I put my information in, and my eligibility and all of that was handled without me really understanding the complexity of how that works between different agencies or different programs.
Thank you again for joining us today, and thank you to the Brite team and for your insights today. And I'd like to thank all of our participants for joining us. Thank you for being here today, and we hope this information was helpful to you and your organization.